Hey guys, this is Colin with Ghost Train Comics, and we are going to split this video into two parts. So it's going to be a part one and a part two, because there was a lot of material to cover. After going through it, it's just going to work better in two 12-minute segments instead of one 24-minute one that nobody's going to stay for the whole thing. So I'm going to break down the first part here into the remainder of 2026. So it's going to take us through August through December inclusive, and then part two is going to be looking at January through June. So it's a little bit more manageable, broken into those pieces. Thanks. Hey guys, Colin with Ghost Train Comics, and welcome to part one of the DC Compact release schedule from August through to December 2026. Welcome to Compact Corner. This is a new section of Ghost Train Comics where we'll be covering specific things coming up in Compact Comics. Specifically the wave of compacts from both DC, who've been doing it successfully for the last couple of years, and then some of the others who are joining them in that space. IDW have had some limited runs and success there as well, and they'll be pushing more into it. Marvel is the big one joining, and Rebellion 2000 AD. I will be doing separate videos on each of those. I have the Marvel one, just finishing mapping that out, then adding it to the calendar template, and then we'll roll through that one in the first video. That'll take us through to summer 2027. And then the Rebellion 2000 AD one should start in late January with the Judge Dredd classic releases. That one is exciting. I can't wait for that. Obviously being a big 2000 AD Judge Dredd fan and running through the history of a lot of those strips at the moment with the 2000 AD series that we're doing. So DC Compact. So what we're going to do is you'll see up on screen each month with the illustrated pics of the books that are coming out. So we're going to start in August, what's left of August 2026, and this is referring to the 5.5 by 8.5 format of Compact Comics. Widely ranging page count. Some of them are actually quite impressive. They do hold a complete 12-issue series, or they could just be a graphic novel with some back matter, like Arkham Asylum, for example, which is only 100 pages and change, versus some of the others which will go all the way up to over 300 pages. So it's quite a range, but they're all in that trim size, the 8.5 by 5.5, and they're all generally priced at $9.99, and you'll see them come down a little bit to $8.99 or even $9.49, but in that range of $8.49 to $9.99. If you order them new on sales day, generally be $9.99. So that's where we're at. Let's have a look. August 2026, we do have Batman and Son on August the 18th. This is the first collection from Grant Morrison's run. So this is the same material. It's been collected in a few different versions at this stage over the years. This is it's a really smart choice for DC to do it like this. Grant Morrison's kind of a perennial favorite on Batman. The usual complaints, mostly from American readers who find him strange or complicated, etc. But this run was, as Grant described it, back to the hairy chest 1970s Neil Adams action Batman. Of course, it got into a lot of the more elaborate, complex, bizarre Morrisonisms, but this is a lot of fun. It introduces Damian, who's a very popular Robin to this day. August 18th, and then the other remaining compact in August is Harley Quinn Wild at Heart. I'm really not a Harley Quinn person, nothing against her, I'm not that familiar, haven't read any of her series, but super popular, one of the most popular female characters, right up there with Zatanna, Wonder Woman, Poison Ivy, and various members of the Teen Titans, which takes us through to September. September the 1st is Fables. This is an interesting one, an interesting lean for compact. This was huge in the teens, the 20 teens. I never got into this one either, but it's a common kind of trope by this stage in both movies, kind of romance or fantasy books. There's been a few comic ideas around it. So Fables basically takes the idea of all the characters from the famous fairy stories or the Grimm fairy tales, and just puts them in a unified world so you can interact with people like Prince Charming, characters based on the Snow White legends, etc. The Batgirl of Burnside, Fables is out on September 1st. The Batgirl of Burnside, September 15th. Again, Batgirl, a perennial favorite. I should have mentioned her along with the others. All of the Batgirls, Stephanie, Cass, and Barbara Gordon, are super popular. So there's plenty of space for this to expand in compacts especially. So again, another smart move, getting some folks in there, and you get a lot of people who want to buy this literally to share it with somebody else. They're so passionate about these characters. And then one of my favorites is Dark Knight's Metal compact, will be out on the 29th. This was just so much fun. Yes, it got a little bit much after the second series, but still some brilliant ideas. Really dark lean in from Scott Snyder. Really interesting kind of horror mix with DC superheroes, and a lot of interesting extreme multiversal stuff. So that one I did not expect, but I mean, Batman, it was the Paul Levitt's famousism of there's only, one basic rule for being a DC publisher, which is how much more Batman can you sell. Injustice compact on September 29th. So this became more famous being a game, and then they pushed it into comics, and I think there was an animated, could be wrong, correct me, but Injustice is basically Superman decides to take over the world, that type of shtick. So kind of a Kingdom Come riff type of Elseworlds thing. Also got elements of Squadron Supreme on it, but that's on 29th. And then we're up to October. October 6th, we have Swamp Thing compact. It is the Alan Moore issues. It does start with 20, but it doesn't include the annual that ties in with the first major storyline, which I think is an interesting mapping. It may have been a size thing, but I think it would have rounded this off nicely. But at least they did add 20 in. A lot of the earlier collections didn't have 20. And that was the first issue Moore took over, but it was the last issue tying up the Marty Pasco stuff that he took over. But it has one of my favorite scenes in comics in it, establishing Moore's approach to the characters right from the go. And the actual quote from the conversation between Dennis and Liz in this issue, as Moore is just basically finishing the previous plot before starting his own Swamp Thing per se with 21. It's when Dennis is talking to Liz in the middle of a bunch of horror shenanigans happening and saying, oh, as soon as we're done with this, I have all these plans for us. And she just looks at him like he's crazy. And she's like, Dennis, there's no future for us outside of this. All we have in common is the horror. So it's that kind of sets the tone for Moore's trauma bonding and a lot of the interactions that happened during his run. And then Harley and Ivy, October 6th as well. Again, super popular characters, not really my bag. I don't really know much about them apart from the basics and the cartoon and movie stuff. But that'll keep Harley and Ivy fans a little bit happier. And again, probably a lot of gift buying or encouraging other folks to pick it up. November is where it starts to get interesting, and this is a huge one, which is the Crisis Compact. Crisis on Infinite Earth sold 12 issues of it, which is a great, it's a story I have in a few different versions. This is just the straight 12 issues, and getting rid of the original multiverse, it did give DC a creative kind of kick up the butt, and it did force a lot of innovation in different ways. So it's always a slight controversy around it for kind of longer term comic fans on that one. But it's a good buy. At that price, it's definitely worth everybody getting. The DC Comics box set. There's another one coming up next year with just Superman related books, but this is the first box set, and this is fantastic. I've seen the prices varying between $44.99 to $49.99 on this one. Check out your local comic store, see if you can put in an order, or one of your favorite online stores. You can usually get some type of a discount for either first time order or just ordering, doing a pre-order ahead of time. But that one is a great deal because it's like getting one free book in it. It's an interesting lineup of books for sure, and people would argue, and have been online since this was announced, arguing which ones should have gone in it, but I think it's a good mix. They're all bestsellers at this point, but it's a good kind of smorgasbord intro to the DC Compact line, and it just screams gift. So again, the whole notion of gifts like this and the whole kind of manga giving culture, leave it on a train, or if you lose it, it doesn't really matter, somebody else will enjoy it, etc. Which brings us to December, Justice League Origin Compact December. That's a pretty good, straightforward book. Geoff Johns' reboot or retell of the origin of the JLA in modern times. And then one of my favorites, I do have this in the deluxe edition, Tom King and Mitch Gerads, Mr. Miracle. It's almost like a companion piece to the Vision one that Tom King did, in my mind. And also the Adam Strange book. Those three are real kind of trauma or real world explorations of the kind of the psyches of DC heroes who are pushed right to the edge and beyond. The Mr. Miracle one is beautiful though. The art is so good. King has never been more naturalistic whilst also ridiculously bombastic. And with these characters, the new Genesis, New Gods characters, and especially the key focus on Big Barda and Scott Free, Mr. Miracle, it's just absolute genius, and King dares to go. And a lot of people don't like how dark he gets, or they have some various reasons why they don't like his stuff, but I love when he pushes it right to the edge. I don't always like what he does, and I agree it works best if you look upon his stuff as been out of continuity for the most part, like the Heroes in Crisis debacle with Wally West. But in this case, it was just spectacular. The themes that they went through and the things that they looked at. Plus, pretty good observations on a relationship in it. So both of those, December 1st, Justice League Origin, Mr. Miracle. So that is what we have at the moment, guys. Love to get your thoughts on it. If you want to drop a comment in there, let me know which ones you're excited about, which ones you think you're going to pick up. We will, of course, do another one as we get more updates in, and we'll be doing the regular monthly calendar updates. But next in the compact corner is going to be the Marvel plans for what they have coming up, which is also very exciting, massive potential, obviously. And the Judge Dredd one starting in January. So that's something that I'll be getting those ones for sure. But thank you for your time, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.